6:30 on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS and streaming live on the Odyssey app. This traffic and weather together on KCBS. It's 8:28. They're starting up some road work on the peninsula, huh?
They are, and it's got things slowing down, mostly on northbound 101. Elisa, the backups there kind of begin where the South Bay turns into the peninsula, northbound 101 from 237. A bit of a backup in the approach to Shoreline. You'll see some southbound delays there at Shoreline, and then I've also got, I'm just double checking there's no concert. There's no concert. And then if you're on northbound 101, I've got some slow traffic there from Oregon Expressway as you head toward University Avenue. Again, road work there, lanes are being reduced. And if you head across the bay right now, you'll see the same thing in Fremont. 880 South, heavy Union City, getting into Fremont. Same story northbound 880 out of the Warm Springs area toward Fremont. Construction beginning on both directions of 880, sometimes called the Nimitz Freeway. And then 680 southbound slow from 580 in Pleasanton to not far. The backup on 680 south is not too bad. I'd say just from Stone Ridge, clearing up before you get to the fairgrounds. The worst of it remains the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, and that's looking so much better. Not even much of a westbound backup at all. And eastbound 580, I'd say, is still pretty tough from 101 to about the mid-span. Eastbound 37, pretty bad too. Your next update is 8:38 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Thanksgiving Eve, fog and clouds are back tonight. Coast to Bay will have lows in the 50s. Mostly sunny. We'll have 60s to the 80s, much like today, tomorrow. Week ahead looks great. Slight warm-up inland as we head into next weekend. Traffic and weather together on KCBS.
Neuropathy is a debilitating condition that is sometimes misdiagnosed. Symptoms can include pain, numbness, and tingling in your hands, legs, and feet. Neuropathy is a progressive condition that only worsens unless you get effective treatment. SF Bay Wellness is a leader in neuropathy reversal and uses FDA-cleared, non-invasive electric cell therapy to restore nerve function with no injections, no drugs, and no surgery. The treatments have a 95% success rate. If distance is a factor, ask about our virtual consultation option. Call SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE for the $99 neuropathy evaluation and receive a personal...
Has more.
Fire crews were first alerted to the incident just after 3:30 Monday near the Waterman Water Treatment Plant. As Fairfield Deputy Fire Director Rich Llewellyn explains, the grass fire threatened a number of homes north of Waterman Boulevard along Vista Grande Road.
The fire has bumped up against a few neighborhoods here, the ones in particular that are targeted for evacuation We have been able to protect those houses and kind of keep the fire moving around the perimeter of the houses.
As a precaution, evacuation orders were in place for about an hour, but lifted at 6:20, just about 15 minutes after forward progress was stopped. Deputy Chief Llewellyn mentioned conditions in the area were ripe for a potential devastating blaze.
These are rolling hills up here covered with grass, and you can imagine with today's sun, combined with the 25-mile-an-hour winds I heard mentioned earlier, the fire's really moving, or has been moving fast.
Neighboring fire agencies, along with CAL FIRE, totaling about 100 fire crews, along with 4 aircraft, helped to quell the threat and contain it to about 62 acres, preserving all structures in the area. From the fire desk, Jack Ferris, KCBS.
More people are now taking a Waymo than a Lyft to get around San Francisco. KCBS's Mike DeWald reports from San Francisco. Just a year into passenger service, the robo-taxi company could be on track to rival Uber in the city.
Pretty remarkable considering some of the growing pains in getting Waymo service up and running on San Francisco's streets. In a little less than 2 years, the robo-taxi service now has more than a quarter of the market. Whether it's the privacy or the novelty, something is attracting people towards these robo-taxis. Waymo riders like Logan Pratt say having a human driver isn't always good.
Sometimes you're like, when did this person learn how to drive? Yesterday? The proof is actually in the numbers.
Tech expert and San Jose State engineering professor Ahmed Ben Affa says he's surprised at just how quickly the service has caught on.
All of this one is a wake-up call for the ride-sharing companies, telling them that, they have to think different.
Whether it's service to Market Street or SFO, Ben Affa says the stakes are now higher as these companies jockey for riders, and ride-hail companies like Lyft and Uber may need to adapt.
They should not stay the same. I mean, the most important thing and the only constant in the Silicon Valley is change.
In San Francisco, Mike DeWald, KCBS.
The nation's largest food supplier is working to help restaurants find a way to avoid costly tariffs. KCBS's Liz St. John has more. Dining out is already costly. Possible food tariffs could make it even pricier. Cisco, the largest food supplier for restaurants, is trying to help.
Cisco has been moving toward a more local and domestic supply for a few years now.
Bloomberg's Daniela Sartori says the extra cost of imported foods might not scare away some restaurants or diners.
For some restaurants, this idea of selling local food is not just about the cost, it's also almost like a marketing thing, right? Like people, especially foodies, want to know that their food, where the food comes from and that it's local. And so people might be willing to pay up a little bit for that.
For now, Cisco and many restaurants are watching the evolving tariff situation and preparing to switch to more domestic products or import from places with lower tariffs if prices go way up. Liz St. John, KCBS. We're about 2 minutes away from another look at traffic and weather. Need groceries fast without the hassle? I've got you. Hi, I'm Kim Vestal, every week sharing tips to simplify your life with Safeway's app, Drive Up and Go, and delivery. Only on KCBS every Thursday. Tune in between 4:30 and 4:45 p.m. This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-420-1557. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-420-1557. 800-420-1557. 800-420-1557.
Meet Christine. She loves shopping. And this? It's the sound of fashion overload. Too many fabulous things, not enough space. So Christine started selling with The Real Real.
I've always loved collecting designer pieces. Gucci bags, Prada heels, but my style keeps evolving. Selling with The Real Real? Game changer. I earn more, and they do everything.
Seriously, just drop off your items or schedule a pickup. We handle the photos, descriptions, pricing, even shipping. You just sit back and watch your items sell fast to our 38 million members.
And I get peace of mind knowing I earn more selling with The Real Real than anywhere else.
Exactly. This? That's the sound of your closet working for you. The Real Real. Earn more, save time, sell fast. And right now, you can get an extra $100 site credit when you sell for the first time. Go to therealreal.com/radio to get your extra $100. Therealreal.com/radio. That's therealreal.com/radio.
KCBS News Time is 8:38. Tiffany, where would you like to start?
I would like to start on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, and I'd like to thank you so much to our amazing phone force for calling in at 415-391-KCBS. That's 415-391-5227. Saying, okay, here's the deal. If you're headed eastbound Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, first, it's going to take you a long time to get through it. And then the bridge, I guess there's a sign that says that only one left lane is open, but that sign and, of course, us here at KCBS, the sign's wrong. We are right that the two left lanes are open. He says, ignore the sign, follow what the radio is saying, that the two left lanes are open. The one right lane is closed. Pardon me. I believe that's what he told me. I believe he said with the two lanes that are open, but it said just the one. We're also looking at no westbound Richmond-San Rafael Bridge backup at all. I do believe there's a crash, too, eastbound in Richmond, just as you get off the Richmond Parkway. Let's take a look at your ride over the Bay Bridge. Westbound Bay Bridge metering lights have been turned on. Slow traffic westbound from Yerba Buena Island to San Francisco City Streets as construction has begun. Your next update, 8:48 on the traffic meter, KCBS.
Thanks, Tiffany. I see some clouds kind of rolling in. Fog and low clouds back tonight at the coast and inland. Even a little patchy drizzle in the overnight hours. We'll have lows in the 50s. It was a really nice day today, and it'll be much the same tomorrow. Mild and steady pattern brings mostly sunny skies and some minor changes tomorrow with highs in the 70s and 80s. 83 in Livermore, 81 in Concord tomorrow, 77 in Napa, 82 in San Jose. It'll be 66 here and in Oakland, in San Francisco and Oakland. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Attention, business owners. This is Jason Evans. I spent the last 3.5 decades helping companies create serious business breakthroughs, and I want to help you like never before. I built a serious training program called 3 Ways to Double Sales in 12 Months. We're going to give this to any business owner that calls us at 800-500-8320. Just call with your email address, and we'll email you this phenomenal video training program at our expense, not yours. It's an incredible gift. See if you agree. 3 Ways to Double Sales in 12 months.
Took Jason's training less than a year ago. This year alone, Jason has made my training explode as far as my sales growth by over 250%. I'm expecting on doing close to $5 to $6 million gross this year just off of his training.
Again, call with your email address and we'll give you a program that others have paid dearly to receive. 800-500-8320. 800-500-8320. That's 800-500-8320. Paid for by Power Sales University.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you, too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
KCBS News Time is 8:42 as our Newswatch continues. A Bay Area swimmer is laying out her plan to become the first person to swim the entirety of California's coastline. And as KCBS's Megan Goldsby reports, she has a year to train.
The plan is to start the swim 1 year from now, June being the right time for temperatures, currents, and weather off the coast, because this is a lot of swimming.
The North Coast is going to be hard no matter how you slice it when you do it. That is going to be the most complex piece of this swim, and I truly believe if we can get from the Oregon border to Fort Bragg, this swim's possible.
And swimmer Catherine Breed, who lives in Mill Valley, grew up in Pleasanton, and swam for UC Berkeley, is all about proving what's possible.
No one has ever done this, man or woman, so I'm really excited to show people humans are limitless, and we have so much potential, and share that story as I swim around 900 miles.
Another message helping women and girls fall in love with the sea. Breed says statistics show that men far outnumber women in sea-based jobs and hobbies. She's looking for sponsors and support staff for the journey now. Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
Harvard University is asking a judge for a fast ruling to get its federal funding back. CBS's Stacey Lynn reports.
Harvard lawyers urged a federal judge to rule immediately that the Trump administration's freeze on $2.2 billion in funding is illegal and that it violated the school's free speech and regulatory rights. In a court filing, Harvard argued that the U.S. has not produced any evidence to show that the administration's freeze was a legally justified response to address anti-Semitism and alleged liberal bias on campus. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
And coming up in sports, the closer lives up to his nickname in golf. That's in 60 seconds.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-7606. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-688-7606. That's 800-688-7606. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Coming up on KCBS is KCBS insider Phil Mateer on the warning San Francisco's new fire chief has for the city. 8:45, taking a look at the sports line. The Giants and the Padres started a 4-game series today here at home. They're in the bottom of the 7th, still no score. And the Valkyries' next game is Thursday in Phoenix, playing the Mercury. Here's Stephen Langford with sports.
I'll let Jim Nantz on CBS Sports describe the #1 golfer in the world. The man is a machine. Scotty Scheffler, the repeat champion at Jacksonville. The Memorial Tournament, founded by the great Jack Nicklaus in the 1970s, one of the more prestigious non-majors on the tournament schedule. Scheffler, just the second player to defend his title at the event, Tiger Woods being the other. Now when Scheffler goes into the final round with the lead, unflappable. The last 9 times he entered Sunday atop the leaderboard, he has come out with the victory.
I think Sundays are the most fun. I mean, I think being able to play in the final group on a golf course like this is a tremendous amount of fun, and I enjoy the battle. I think that's why we practice, I think, as hard as we do, is to have situations like this, and it's nice to be able to perform, when it matters the most.
One more tournament this week, then it's on to the U.S. Open at the famed Oakmont Country Club in Pennsylvania. At the sports desk, Stephen Langford, KCBS.
What's the matter, Kate?
I think John is cheating on me.
Why?
He claims to suddenly have ED, but he used to be an animal.
Oh, maybe he has low testosterone. A normal part of aging. Ken had that problem. And at Balanced Medical Solutions, they ran labs and evaluated him for only $99. And he found a solution that revived him completely.
Guys, why suffer? Regain your vigor today. Call now. 510-679-3300 or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs? Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-505-9734. 800-505-9734. 800-505-9734.
Want the very latest in sports? Listen to the Bay Area Chevy Dealers Sports Desk. Visit BayAreaChevroletDealers.com.
KCBS News Time is 8:48. KPIX meteorologist Paul Hagan will have a look at your 6-day forecast after we check in with Tiffany.
Yeah, we're still looking at some tough traffic, not only on the peninsula because of construction, right? You have still some slow traffic on northbound 101, particularly first in Mountain View and then in Palo Alto. But the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, still seeing those big backups. So not as big as they were. Eastbound 580 is the worst of it. With 101 is where the backup begins. On eastbound 580, things stay very heavy to Sir Francis Drake. And then after Sir Francis Drake is when you really do get a break. You may be watching the last vestiges of the sunset as you head past San Quentin. Not a bad view. But once you get to the midspan, though, things look excellent with no delays at all. Construction, though, has begun on the upper East Shore Freeway. That is what they call 80, parts of 80 between Hercules and El Cerrito. Both lanes are being affected by road work there. And Highway 37, it's still just tough because a lot of people have been using it as an alternate to the Richmond Bridge. Eastbound heavy from Lakeville, getting to Sears Point. 880 both directions in Fremont, slow on the approach to 84, and I've got slow traffic just starting on 680 north in Fremont. Roadwork, the culprit there. Your next update, 858 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
A nice start to the first full week of June with temperatures running very close to what's normal for this time of year. And in fact, it's looking like a very normal early June weather pattern across the entire Bay Area through the rest of this week and into the weekend. High temperatures are going to be in the low 60s at the coast through the rest of this week. Upper 60s and low 70s around the Bay with a mix of upper 70s and low to mid 80s farther inland. Looks like the warmest day will be the first half of the weekend. That's when inland spots are more likely to climb up to the mid 80s with low to mid 70s around the Bay and low to mid 60s along the coast. And it's right back to near average temperatures as we head into next week. No rain in sight, not a surprise for early June. Fog developing each night, but retreating to the coast as we head towards midday every day this week. For KCBS, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Paul Hagan. Don't forget we have local news for you tonight at 8 and 9 p.m. on Pix Plus.
Thank you, Paul. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. We have Deborah Ingerson out at the editor's desk tonight. I'm Elisa Clancy. San Francisco's new fire chief says the city could be in trouble in a case of a major emergency because of an aging fleet of fire trucks. For more KCBS radio news anchors, Steve Scott spoke with KCBS insider Phil Mateer.
Phil, how bad is it?
Well, it's pretty bad, and I don't think it's necessarily could be. I think it is would be, and it's not just. It's what we have is basically a situation where a third of the frontline responding trucks in San Francisco's department, for example, are 20 years or older. 20 years old or older. That's the equipment that we're putting out there. And when the recommended time for a frontline truck is 15 years, and then they start to wear out. So what are we doing? Well, what we're doing is we're using older trucks. And what we're doing is we're putting them out there at a maintenance cost of some $500,000 a month. That's how much we're paying just to try to keep things running. These engines cost $2.5 to $5 million a piece. They take 3 to 5 years to get. But like I said, if you're spending $500,000 maintaining the old fleet that you haven't spent on, now you're spending that money. So which would be a better investment, buying the new truck or just keep spending the maintenance? That's where they stand, and they continue to stand between that. It's been going on for years.
Well, that's quite a conundrum. I mean, which way do you go? The mayor has had to call for budget cuts due to a deficit. He says that public safety, which includes fire, is not threatened by these cuts. But does the city even have money to buy new fire trucks?
Well, when you have a $16 billion budget, you have money. The question is how you're going to use it, and do you have a process to get it done? I'm going to tell you, historically in San Francisco and in other jurisdictions, maintenance of equipment and facilities has always, long time been on the deferred maintenance. When cities or counties have money, they tend to like to invest it in new programs or new fire stations, that they something new that they can cut a ribbon on and show the public that they're doing something. As far as what the trucks are inside those stations, that's a different story. The other thing, a lot of the money goes into raises for the fire department and the firefighters to keep them in the front lines. So what we have is, when we have money, we spend it elsewhere. When we don't have money, we say we don't have money. Now, Mayor Lurie and the Board of Supervisors are opening up to the idea of something new in San Francisco, of asking people if they want to contribute. Get some billionaires in there to throw some money into a hat and buy some new fire equipment. I don't know if that's the best answer. I mean, it would seem like the most logical thing would be having ongoing replace your fleet. Let's say 20% a year, 10% a year. Just make that a priority. But instead, it becomes something we call deferred maintenance, which means that basically we're going to not spend it. We're going to spend it elsewhere until things get so bad that we have no choice. And they're rapidly approaching that in San Francisco. Not just at the fire department. This is a problem with the police department, too. They're still driving around in Crown Victorias. It's old equipment, new people coming in on it, and it's tough to buy new stuff. It takes a decision. It takes ongoing resolve. And,